All right. It look like we're gonna be starting 7:30, and gonna go ahead and get this thing rocking with the first and frame rates special today. It's not usually do on Thursdays, but today it's Monday. Look like we're gonna be, and the fact that it's Monday, we're gonna talk about this Madden 20 beta. It just closed late last night, early morning. I think it was like at midnight. It's was closed down, and I know a lot of people had their hands on it. It was an issue with getting the beta codes, but a lot of people who did get them, um, for the most part, they enjoyed the game for the most part. And with that being said, um, we're going to give our thoughts as well. I'm pretty sure DJ is going to be here. Uh, I'm not sure if Bills is going to be here. He said he had something to attend to, so if he shows up, it's all good. But I know DJ just told me that he will be here. Um, First and foremost, I have in the link of the link in the podcast WTFOS GoFundMe. If you still haven't checked that out, he is dealing with the house fire that he has suffered, him and his family. He set up a GoFundMe, so if you are willing to go through and just donate $1, it helps a lot. It goes a long way. So that will help big time. I haven't heard from him since he did since he put out what was going on. I haven't seen him on Twitter lately, but obviously because of what he's going through. But nevertheless, go and check him out if you would like to. And like I said, $1 goes a long way. It helps out a lot. I've seen a lot of people do uh, a significant amount of donations. So we're going to get into it. Uh, like I said, DJ is going to be here shortly. Bills, he said he had something to attend to, so he should be here as well. And we're just going to go from there. I see some people in the chat already. DJ said he's coming in shortly. His computer's booting up. Tadal 52, I thank you for coming through. Put him in the game. What's up? Yeah, DJ, everybody on that's on the podcast, we did play the game. We all had our moments with it. I spent a significant amount of time with one particular team because if I decide to get this game, I'm going to just play with one team, so I can care less what the other teams do. I go straight into franchise mode with my one team that I play with. So I've been practicing with them all throughout the entire time just to see how the mechanics go and see how certain players play. Um, if y'all don't mind, I mean, I don't ask most of the time, hit the like button. Let people know that we're out here streaming, talking about this beta. We're going to give people our honest opinions, going to let people know what's going on as far as where we think the game should go and what other people thought as well, because there was a pretty good amount of feedback that I actually was interested in expounding on. So, if you hear my son in the background, that's my son. He's up here with me. Him and my wife, they're here up here and where I usually do the podcast. So you'll probably hear him in the background. It's all good. So my personal thoughts with the beta. Like I said, I haven't said anything about the beta on Twitter because I wanted to save it for this. Um, but I came away impressed with the game because most of the stuff in the game actually worked. You didn't see anything crazy going on. Um, Most of the outcomes that played out per play, I liked. Um, I didn't too much worry about different types of X factors or whatever. Like I said, I only played with one team. I played with the Atlanta Falcons, and they do have Julio Jones. He's an X factor. Matt Ryan has a few things that differentiates from other players as well. So with that being said, they do matter. The X factors do matter. I mean, Julio Jones was actually a difference maker on the field compared to other players that I went up that was he was going up against. So it was that was good to know that that worked. Also, that a lot of plays that we did play that a lot of plays that I ran actually played like they're supposed to. I didn't see anything wonky or nothing crazy going on with certain things that was wrong. Certain things I thought that was going to be in the beta um, that was going to be a little glitchy or wonky. I didn't find it. At the end of the day, I feel like the game was a finished product that was disguised as a beta. Um, Put them in the game. Asked me, was there a difference between arcade and sim modes? There's no reason for me to even play arcade mode. I would be doing
Yeah,
myself. Yeah, I would do
let me
my.
jump in on that too, because that was a dumb question. All we do is play sim mode, so you know what the deal is.
Yeah, I have
Hey,
no.
folks.
Yeah, I mean, this whole podcast will be built off of a total fraud if you found out that we were playing arcade mode in any quote unquote sim game. Uh, but like I was saying, uh, I've seen a lot of stuff going on in the game that actually was, that was good. I mean, I'll say honestly with the beta, I could say maybe about 90% good things happen per play. The AI played out properly. A lot of outcomes that happened with the game were logical. They made sense. Um, there were times where some players were out of position that didn't look good. I think that was mostly the 10% where you saw some players that just ran past defenders and some defenders act like they didn't know where they were. That mostly happened on run plays. Um, a lot of animations that were there played out very well. A lot of technique on the line that you saw where players were trying to get around other linemen, some linemen that was actually blocking and doing the right thing. Uh, I personally think that the direction that Madden is going now is far beyond what someone who's skeptical would think. It's way beyond their expectations. It was beyond my expectations. Um, like I said, the put them in the game. The blocking was pretty good. The pass coverage was way better than expected. A lot of defended passes, the outcomes of those were a lot better than I thought it was as well, as far as swatting, interceptions, no shifting. That I didn't see that was glaring. It was there where like some players, the two-man animations they still happen. So if they keep it the way it is, you won't see anything that's out of the way that's necessarily game breaking. I think at the end of the day, mostly my biggest problem with the game, and I know a lot of people may think that this is kind of weird and it may not make sense. I think the game ran a little bit too smooth. It felt like nobody was tangible to the ground. It felt like a lot of people were floating at times. And I don't think it was floating because that the game is programmed not to be that way. I just think that they're trying to make the game so smooth and fluid to the point where I didn't feel like the game. It didn't feel like the guys had any weight. Also, I saw. Speaking of weight, another problem I had. I saw a lot of guys um, really not respecting the weight of running backs. I saw a lot of trucking animations get negated. I saw times where the stiff arm really didn't work, mostly for running backs. Now the I did see the stiff arm work for wide receivers. Oddly, like Julio Jones would get a stiff arm in a really good one. Mohamed Sanu was another one, but I had a running back that's a rookie. Um, his name is I can't remember his first name, but his last name is Allison. He's 6'1", 228. And I've been struggling to truck Desmond Trufant. I've been struggling to run over certain DBs and linebackers. Clearly when I had the advantage. So those are my two pet peeves. It seemed like weight doesn't matter much. Stiff arms and trucking, it wasn't there. A lot of two-man tackles and double and triple hit tackles look very good. But I had a real problem with heavier players not their weight not being respected. So I'm gonna let DJ come in because he just got in and he can give his thoughts about the game as well. DJ, what's going on, and let people know how you feel.
Whoa, I had to rush in because I've been doing a trainer apprenticeship, so that's why I'm just coming in just now. All right, so the Madden beta spent what we spent like it was like a 3 day beta. I know folks were wondering whether they was going to extend the beta, which I'm glad the beta is over. Let's just say that because it was supposed to be a taste. If it extended, I already felt like that was too much. My experience has been mostly in franchise mode. That was the only mode that you was going to be able to play against the CPU, which when that first popped up, I thought that was a downer, but it was grateful to be able to one, play the beta because I didn't play the beta last year, and two, play the franchise mode. I don't think it in its entirety per se, because I, got a chance to experience the scenario engine, how the X factors and superstar abilities work. Um, I definitely just to focus on the gameplay aspect of it. Let me start there. So the gameplay, um, I thought the running from both, the feel of it. I thought the feel of running was very smooth. Once again, most of the moves you can do with just the left stick, and maybe you know you can add on with the right stick using the jukes and trucks and stuff like that. I also had a hard time trucking people. I think I was able to pull it off maybe once or twice in the open field, not really so much like in between the tackles. The CPU AI running was vicious. I felt like I was telling VF and Bills and one other person, I think it may have been Smitty. I was telling them I witnessed where a running back, a CPU running back, running through a lane and then being able to use this ball carrier vision. I don't know if the rating is really fully working with the vision, but see him be able to go through one lane, see what's ahead of him, cut into another lane, basically just juking out everybody, but in a natural way where the hole was opening up to his right anyway. So I thought that was cool to see um, the AI runner do, and they don't spend so much. They didn't spend so much time doing extra jukes and stuff like that. I felt like they just ran naturally. It wasn't I guess on arcade mode you'll get a lot of jukes and a lot of stuff because everything's bigger, everything's more
Right,
exaggerated.
right.
But with sim mode, they played as advertised. Let's see, the QB throwing animations.
Yeah,
They do
I was
not
gonna get on
use
that.
it.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna get on
okay.
that a little bit. No, I was gonna get on that later, but you can go ahead and say your piece about it. I have no problem.
Oh, well, the QB throwing animations. Uh, the devs should not touch this, but I already know with all the complaints that some people have had talking about full wind up and whatnot, I already know the hand is going to be placed on their shoulder and they may make some adjustments to it. But I thought the animations were what I wanted them to be in the first place because last year you got throwing animations only on the medium throws or medium. I think medium and deep throws you got them on, or just on the medium throws. You would get some wonky throwing animation, and that's been Madden for years. But this year, on every single throw, you get their throwing animation that they have assigned to them. Now, obviously, I saw Drew Brees' throwing animation. It's legit. I did not get to play against the Green Bay Packers and play against Aaron Rodgers and see Aaron Rodgers throwing motion. But from what I guess, I don't know if from what Smitty was experiencing and maybe Bills, that quick release is deadly. And I would dare say this: I felt like after watching one of 2Ks The guy person on Twitter, 2K now, after seeing one of the videos of all pro football and their throwing animations, I felt like their throwing animation was a little slower than what Madden has. So,
Yeah, yeah.
you can put me to the fire on that all you like, but that's what I felt as far as the throwing animations. Um, as far as the differences between, you definitely knew who the elite quarterbacks were, who the star quarterbacks were, and who were the bench warmers, and who were the rest. There definitely is a difference between the three. I felt in this beta. Um, playing in the preseason, you'll experience that. In regular season, probably not so much, because preseason you'll see the second string, possibly the third string or whatever, and the quality of gameplay deteriorates in preseason because you'll see the second and third string. As far as I saw, I noticed a couple of motion shifts. I've seen one where the result was correct, but it could have been cleaned up in a matter that I had a play where I went back to pass. The running back is kind of like doing some quick jittery thing on the left hand side. I got him in the block, and the defender's coming in clean. I felt like the running back was making his way over to the right, but got stuck in that motion. And then to make up for the fact that that running back was supposed to be already on my right side to pick up the blitz, shifted the defender into the block just a little bit because the running back had already gotten there. So they can clean stuff like that up. I really didn't see anything that was glaring as far as the motion shifting and stuff like that.
No, I think with as far as that goes, I think that is eliminated as of right now. I can't speak on what they do once they put the game through its tests. Once people start complaining if they patch this patch, you don't know, one patch that could do one thing can end up messing up something else. So I don't know what may happen if people complain or if they even do like a regular update. I don't know. But as of right now, the shifting and all that stuff is so minuscule to the point where you can play this game and not even have to worry about it. Like I said, the two main animations when you're going up for a ball, that's there. But outside of that, tackling somebody, running through the lanes, blocking. I haven't seen anything that was like, oh, this is Madden 16, or I'm looking at Madden 18 again, or I'm in some cases I'm watching Madden 19. I think that aspect of the game, they clean that up enough to where it makes a big difference that everything else around the game works. As far
Mm-hmm.
as the throwing and the releasing, you just have to learn your quarterback. That's why I played practice with one particular team. I'm not one of these guys that's going to be jumping around from team to team throughout the whole year. And if you do that, kudos to you, because you're going to have a problem if you want to play with the Vikings and then turn around and play with the Saints, or then I'm going to turn around and play with Miami. It's not going to be the same. And I think that's why a lot of people are going to complain, because they want differentiation of players, but when they actually get it and it's not going to benefit to them, then it's a problem. You have to understand that even in the NBA game, live and 2K, everybody don't have the same release. So everybody jump shot is different. So you have to learn these players. And I think with Madden 20, they have an instance to where now you have um you have where these players, especially the quarterbacks, you're going to have to learn when to throw, how to throw, the timing of the throw. That's just like with any player that you play against in real life. I mean, one quarterback you play against is going to have a different release than another quarterback. So it's going to be, it's going to be different. It's supposed to be different. So I don't have an issue with it. It's just that at the end of the day, you have to learn your personnel. But like I said, um, I think the game plays good. That doesn't necessarily mean for me that Madden is necessarily a good football game. I just think that if you play this game, you're not going to have the frustrations that you had in past Maddens, and that there alone that says a lot.
Now, I'll cut in on this. I kind of cringe when you said that last part because everyone's always fearful of not. I'm not talking about like the change in the game. I like the game in the state that it is with like some cleanups here and there.
Yeah, I think it's
But
good too. I think it's good too.
but the fear is always okay. You release the game, everyone's loving the game or everyone's hating the game, whatever the side of the fence you're on, and then 2 weeks in, it gets nerfed, it gets changed, something is less than, and that's the part that I felt like, as far as I made a declaration that I was not going to get Madden 20. And for me, I feel like I want to wait this out as far as getting the game because I want to see how, like, again, how it changes and not be involved while it changes because I understand the frustration that's out there when they get a game and it's playing right out the gate. Like last year, RPM was the major thing that got nerfed. And it got nerfed seriously because people complain, oh, I can't run the ball. I gotta anticipate for once. It's
Yeah,
like
it
people
got
want
it
that.
got to the point where it was taken out of the game completely.
Yeah, it felt that way. It
Yeah,
felt
it
like it
felt that
never
way.
came back, and it was just Madden. Like for Madden 19, it was just Madden 18 all over again. So you come out with Madden 20, and it's like, okay, what form of RPM do you feel like we're gonna get? I felt like we were kind of still stuck at we didn't have true RPM in the beta. I don't know if they're gonna make it because that goes into what you said, VF, about the players not feeling like you couldn't feel their weight.
Yeah, you can't at all. I mean, and that in the fact that you have some AI issues where tackling and awareness is not there. I understand it's a beta, but those are glaring issues where you can pull off a big run or a big play because some players aren't doing what they're supposed to do. But it's not like it's messed up because the glitchiness of the game. Now that's something that can be fixed in my opinion because you don't have to deal with a glitch. You just need to tune up the awareness.
Yeah, so I'm not. What was it? But yeah, just knowing that after by like week 3 or week 4 after release, I'm just gonna be concerned how they're gonna change the game. I know that as just to touch on franchise just a little bit as well. Um, and it's funny because I was panicking a little bit earlier because where I was at, I left my notes and it had all my Mad notes except I took
Well,
pictures of my
I'm about to
notes,
say, you put them on Twitter, yeah.
so people literally could see what I wrote down. So if you go on my Twitter, you see those are all my notes that I took. So if you want to follow along, I will probably hit the major things that I hit in those notes. Of course, I'm not going to go through everything. They're
Don't worry
notes.
about it. I got you. I'm gonna pull them up so people can see them.
But yeah. So should we go ahead and go into the notes, or should
That's
we?
up to you. I mean, that's up to you. I mean, I have more to say, but I mean, if you want to,
No,
you want to share your thoughts first, that's fine.
No, let's kick it back to you and you go through what you need to go through because I kind of don't know what I'm going to. I know I have a numbered list.
I mean, I don't have much to say, but I mean, my thing is, I've played, pretty much out of the 48, maybe 72 hours that the beta was up. I probably played like half that time. I did about 30 hours of it. Me personally, I said the game was a $20 game. I definitely can stick by that. If you're going to go and get this game off of EA Access, if you're going to get this game off of PC EA Origin Access, I definitely think it's a no-brainer. You get it off of there, play it for a month, whatever the case may be. I think you'll be fine. The only reason why I say that because there's always a possibility of what happens with the other games. Somebody may because like if you go on the Madden forums right now, the feedback. A lot of people are complaining about, the throwing time, the timing of the throws, the people their quote unquote elongated throws or whatever the case may be. A lot of people are complaining about certain things they couldn't do in the past. So if it's overwhelming, to be honest with you, a lot of people are really, you know, talking about that part of the game. So if they decide to listen to that, you're going to have a problem within 6 weeks to 8 weeks in the game. So if you're going to pay, $10, $15 to play this game for that amount of time, I think you're getting a good value. If they do nothing to this game, and they keep it the way it is, like if they're set in stone that nothing's going to happen, even with the issues that I've said, I think I think you can get this game for $60 and be all right. But that's not based on necessarily like me personally. I don't think you're getting a good football experience. I think you're finally getting a Madden game that works. I don't necessarily I don't see the type of game that gives me the immersion that'll say that I want to deep dive in this game and actually go forward with it. Like me personally, I'm kind of different. I have other football games that I'm playing now that right now I refuse to give up those franchise modes right now. I'm like maybe 6, 7, and I know for one, I'm like 11 years into a franchise mode in those games. I don't see this game. I don't see Madden 20 giving me that feeling that I need to give up those games to start another franchise in this game. But if I'm looking at it from a standpoint that the game is actually a functional, decent game, I can see where right now I can see where that game is okay. Just don't touch it. So um, I'm not sure that this game is a $60 purchase outside of the patches that may come about. But if the game stay where it is, I can see somebody playing this game and being all right with it. Just don't mess with it. So um, that's my take. DJ, you want to start with your list because I got it up right here. If you want me to pull it up.
Okay, well, yeah, if you want to, you can go ahead and pull it up. But I'm looking at my notes that I took. So, number one, the biggest thing that stood out to me was the X Factor system, the X Factor, the superstar abilities, and stuff like that. My main exposure to it was through the pass rushers. I'm like, there definitely was a difference between, your bum ass pass rushers that just take up space versus your superstars, the guys that have like stuff like traits like fearmonger of all things. That's like the big thing. You have a defender that has a superstar X factor trait of fearmonger. You need to account for him for every single damn play. It's not a game. You cannot leave him alone, whoever that defender is. And there may be two of them on defense that could have a trait similar to that or have some type of superstar X factor ability that you have to account for, even to the point like if you have a X factor defensive back like the Redskins, I don't think he does not have a X factor ability, but he does have a superstar ability, and that's Landon Collins. You
Right.
can't
You
fake
know
him
what?
out.
You know what?
And,
What's his name?
yeah,
Keanu Neal has the same thing for the Falcons. I noticed that too. It's not an X factor, but they have a star under them.
right. So you can't juke him out, and he's delivering big hits almost every single play, and it's just like you can't do. You have to, when you call your plays, you have to account for the fact that he's in the area. So you may not want to throw on that side, you may not want to run on that side. But going back to the pass rushers, yeah, you definitely have to account for your pass rushers every single play. The two players I went up against was the Eagles' Fletcher Cox. So I know Pooh will be happy to hear this. Fletcher Cox is a problem. If he didn't make the play, he caused the play to be made by others. That's how much of a difference the X Factor abilities can make this year's game versus last year's game. So that, and then my other was Geno Atkins, and he pretty much collapsed the pocket almost every single time if I didn't double him. So moving on from the pass rushers, because that overall has to do with pass rushing. But yeah, the superstar and X Factor abilities, they are live,
Yeah,
and
they're
yeah,
legit.
that that
They're
is
legit.
is scary.
They're
Um,
legit. I agree.
okay, I kind of hit this earlier with throwing animations, but then passing trajectories are definitely better. I was able to make certain throws. Now, it's also in combination with the fact that lurking linebackers weren't doing the lurking linebacker things they've been doing in Madden's past. I think there's only two linebackers in the game currently. I know every either game changer has said this or the devs have said it. There's only two guys that have the ability to make that leaping catch if you try to throw it over him and whatnot. Um, I have seen where like passes, the trajectory is a little bit more with the passing controls. Pump faking is just a double tap, and yeah, um, it's more user friendly.
But a lot of people, you know what?
Uh,
I didn't like that. A lot of people were complaining about the double tap for the pump fake. Really, really,
that's all.
really.
That's all pro football.
But I'm just
2K8.
saying.
That
I mean,
was
even
that was what was in there. So
I'm just
they're
saying,
hypocrites if they don't like the double
no,
tap.
not even if they didn't have experience with all pro football. Double tap the pump fake sounds so much better, and it makes sense. Even
Mm-hmm.
without not even talking about API, double tap because like you pass and you press it again to pull it back down. It's just
Right.
common. It just makes sense for it to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. You can go ahead.
Yeah, but certain throws that I was fearful of making last year, I was able to pull off this year. I felt like with the two-man sequences that would pop up, I felt like they played out correctly. There wasn't a sense of a rocket swat or a rocket catch for interception that we all of a sudden that would ruin it for most folks like us because they're I'm like if the trajectory is good enough and the defensive back or the defender is on the receiver's back, more than likely he's not going to be able to catch up like that. So it was nice to see that the two-man sequence that would appear at times would be the defender still on the receiver's back, the receiver either making a catch, either catching it, maybe dropping it, the defender those type of situations, not necessarily the defender miraculously catching up through a rocket boost and knocking the ball away or picking it off for an easy pick six. So it was definitely nice to see that. To go into pass catching animations, I think are very smooth. They definitely added a lot more pass catch interactions, whether they were catches or drops.
Yeah, I think the animations personally, I don't think the animations were anything enhanced. I think that now we're looking at, like I said earlier, the wide receiver DB interactions are so much better that the pass catching looks right now. It looks like it's supposed to work because pretty much every pass animation, catching animation I've seen it in previous Maddens, but there's some that just
Mm-hmm.
the one that they didn't play out right because the DB did this or the receiver did that. Like you will see like a one-handed catch, but it was triggered at the wrong time. I think this time they actually got, like I said earlier, the game is working. That's the problem that like 2K like 2K football now just said in the chat, the animations are more polished from past matters. Like they're working now.
Yeah, I agree with
It,
that.
it, it's
I
not the
agree with
fact.
that.
It's not the fact that they're extra ones. It's like, yo, Madden had better catch animations in their game probably since like 15 or 16. They just didn't trigger right. I think now they finally got it the trigger correctly. So I'm not I'm not doubting what you're saying. It's just that the fact that they're smooth because they're working.
Mhm. Now I know Pete just asked how is base align against spread sets been a big problem. I never really used base align,
I
believe
mean,
it or not.
I used it. I didn't have a problem with it. It looks like I said, most of the stuff that's in game is like working. And outside of the AI not knowing when to pursue or tackle at times, the pass coverage is just, or the coverage on the field is just fine. It's like it feels like that you could catch the defense off guard, and they're really caught off guard at times. So you may have like a linebacker that maybe get juked out of their shoes, but once they're juked out of their shoes, it'll take them like an extra second for them to catch on what happened. Or you can cut past a linebacker. If you cut past them fast enough, you would get by them, but like I said, it'll take an extra second for them to catch on. So I'm like, I think that's something that needs to be tweaked. But um, as far as everything else, I mean, DJ, what he's saying so far is I agree for the most part.
Now, NY just say if you miss a line versus RPO, you're going to get cooked. I can confirm
I mean,
that. Yep,
that's supposed to happen.
And NY is your man for the deep strategy, the strategic aspect of it. I know I'm not a deep strategist, but yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not either.
And I'll actually touch on RPO in a little bit because that's coming up. RPO, man.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is like I run plays, and the plays that I see, does it work? Is it playing out the way it's supposed to? Or did this person do this? Did this person do that? Is technique being used? I personally don't have the time to go down, like, say, what formation is going up against this formation and is it working? My thing is like, look, you're an NFL star. You get on the field, you see what's going on. You better do your job. And if I don't see them doing their job, that's where I'm like, okay, there's a problem here. There's a problem there. This rating's not adding up to this. So, yeah, NYK is definitely the person to let you know, like, what works against what. But if they're misaligned, absolutely, you're supposed to get cooked. I mean, why? I mean, unless you get lucky. So, I'm here for that as well.
Okay.
What else you got on your list, DJ?
Well, one was talking about fade routes. That's kind of as a result of the pass trajectory, so I'm gonna skip past that.
Yeah, I think number 4. I think number 4 goes hand in hand with 2 and 3.
Right, and then running the ball. I already talked about running the ball, and I already gave an example, so I no need to talk about that. And I just talked about pump fake. I knew as soon as I said it, I knew it was later on down on the list. So I already touched on pump fakes. All right, RPOs. Some people, I know Pooh just said it earlier that it felt like it was hit and miss. I'm sorry. To me, it wasn't hit and miss. I'm like, RPO is a science that you have to learn. You have to really practice this. And I didn't run the RPO in a game until I practiced it because one, it's a new mechanic in the game.
Just you like don't want to just like the throwing mechanics, they're new things.
Right. So it's like, I know I tweeted this. I was like, it adds a layer of strategy that hasn't been seen in video football gaming in quite some time. And I hold to that because you have your keys, but then the play unfolds where sometimes that key may move in a direction. You can't necessarily unless it's obvious, you can't really preset what you're going to do with RPOs.
No, I think the closest thing that we had to RPO is what they did with the pistol in NCAA 14.
Yeah, read option.
Yeah, it's like the
read option is the closest thing.
Right, it's the closest thing.
And yeah, that's right. NCAA 14 did have passes out of it. Okay, I see what you're saying.
They did. It's like the closest thing. Now, what the mechanic in Madden 20 is totally different from what you had in 14. But if you're used to playing NCAA 14, I think me, NY maybe a couple other people that's in the community still play that game. You kind of got a feel of what they're doing with RPO. But me, I don't have a problem with it. You just have to learn it. There's a glitch in it. But so hopefully that'll get fixed as well. But people who don't know what they're doing, you just, like I said, you can't get into this game. This is the first Madden I can honestly say that you can't get into a game and just run a play and think it's going to work. You're kind of gonna have to lab a little bit. Freddie G also asked, is the CPU still incompetent? For asking for my offline brothers, I'm a big offline person. Like I said, passing the ball against the CPU, no. They have sense. Running the ball, you're gonna have issues. You're gonna break off big runs at times because, like I said, there are times where the AI they get juked out of, or they get put out of position and they don't respond fast enough. Like you're gonna. No, go ahead.
Yeah, and to tell you the truth, it's like I would like definitely like to be specific with the answer, but I also need a specific. I need specifics in that question because that is the CPU still incompetent, and it's just like okay, that's a wide ranging
It is.
thing.
It is. It is.
Like you talking about from play calling to uh, how interactions play, not how interactions play calling mainly. See, okay, so CPU offensively, that's bigger to me. Okay, so CPU offensively. Now, from Bill's understanding, is that that's going to depend on the difficulty level. He felt like on All Pro that there were plays that they would call that wouldn't make sense. Like they would be on their own goal line and call 3 straight RPO uh, type plays, like or screen passes. QB still taking unnecessary. Like what do you mean by unnecessary? See, that's kind of like a rabbit hole type question because it's like each person that's looking at it.
Okay.
When you talk about unnecessary,
All right.
oh, go ahead.
I'll put it like this. I played defense again with the Falcons defense against Matt Ryan, and I played on All Pro and I played on Madden. For the most part, unnecessary sacks. Are you meaning like somebody's open and they're still just standing there and just taking a sack, or is it like you honestly have everybody covered and they don't want to throw the ball away, or it'll be intentional grounding, or are they trying to run out the pocket? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, Matt Ryan's not running out the pocket. He's not going to run out the pocket, and he's not going to he's not going to just throw the ball away in the pocket. That's intentional grounding. So, from my experience playing with Matt Ryan, it looks like everything was okay for the most part. There were times where on All Pro that there were way more inaccurate passes. Like, okay, you had an open person and he overthrew somebody. Now on All Madden, he was more pinpoint to get the ball to a person that was open, and he threaded the needle even more through tighter windows on All Madden. All Pro, it was kind of dialed back a bit where Matt Ryan necessarily didn't do Matt Ryan things. I guess that makes sense if as far as the difficulty level. Um,
Yeah.
as far as the CPU quarterback situation, no, it wasn't as prominent as past Maddens. Running the ball, I saw a lot of running backs not trying to get open as much. That's on All Pro and All Madden, but I guess for me, um, I've been playing Madden for a long time, so when I play defense, you can look at my stats. Even on NCAA 14, I always led the conference or the league in yards allowed rushing. So I can't speak for myself is if the running back's not doing what they're supposed to do because I shut them down every time. 2K football now said I would like the QB to be more responsive shutting around the pocket. Yeah, I can understand that because some CPU quarterbacks don't move in the pocket as much, and unlike other games. So I understand that.
All right, let me add this because I know Freddie is like instead of trying to force the ball into covers and anticipation being key, they will hold on to the ball because Madden is saying that wide receivers do not have 10 yards of separation. I I really didn't see them. If you want to look at it that way, I didn't really see them take unnecessary sacks
No,
in that range. They were getting the ball out,
right.
but there were times where like an inaccurate throw would be produced. Like they would literally just like I've seen some mistimed throws
Yeah, I do
in
too.
it. Not mistimed throws, but like I've seen some miscommunication or mistiming between the wide receiver and the quarterback delivering the football. Like they'll deliver to that spot, but then the receiver is either not there or the quarterback happens to overthrow. You'll see that more and more with the lesser quarterbacks than you see with the higher tier quarterback.
And another thing Freddie G said, instead of throwing the wide receiver open, they would just hold the ball. I haven't seen a Madden probably since the PS2 days where a quarterback actually threw a wide receiver open. And even in the PS2 days, that was very rare. So no, I can confirm unless if somebody knows something different that they because I've only played in the practice. Like I said, I only played with the Falcons in practice because that's all I'm going to be. That's the only team I'm going to be playing with. So I haven't seen a quarterback throw anybody open in Madden 20 or in a game in a long time. So
Okay. And then just that add this in, it's also going to really depend on what type of quarterback is back there on top of the tier level that they're at, because I've seen some instances where a quarterback, like, he blindly runs into a sack, but the thing is, what happens is he's moving around the pocket, and then he goes to either scramble or go into mobile mode, which is another mechanic. They switched it up a little bit with the mobility aspect of the QB. Just to look at 2K football now, talking about shuffling around the pocket, I mean user control. When you snap the ball, you're automatically in pocket mode, which has been the standard for pretty much all Maddens.
yeah, I think that's a
But
mechanic that they just have in the game.
yeah, but here's the thing. You have two ways to switch to two different other modes. Pure scramble mode, which is just tapping the left trigger, or L2, depending
Mhm.
upon what system you're on. And then if you want to stay in mobile mode but move around, you can hold the right trigger and move him around with the left stick. So he'll still, and what that does, that affects if you do the left trigger, if you just, all you have to do is tap it or press it, it'll lower the icons and you're in ball carrier mode. So you can do spins, jukes, turbo, stuff like that. If you from the passing mode, if you hold the right trigger and you're moving around, he'll be in mobile mode. So the icons will still be up. So that actually helps if you have like mobile QBs that can move around fast enough. Like I can see that happening with Patrick Mahomes being in mobile mode, being able to do what was pulled off in that. But only if you have the agility and speed according to their rating. Not every quarterback's gonna be able to pull off what Patrick Mahomes did, but you'll still be able to throw the ball by pressing the corresponding icon while you had this all held down. So that'll help you move faster around the pocket. Of course, you can go pure scramble again, tapping the left trigger or L2 and take off instantly. And some superstar abilities or X Factor abilities will take advantage of that too. Like if you have Cam Newton, you can definitely use that more than the mobile mode.
All right, let's go back a minute. Erlacher 51 asks, does the gameplay feel balanced when it comes to offense versus defense? To me, pass matters favored the offensive side of the ball. Um, I think this Madden does favor offense, but they do have some players on defense that are a game changer. As far as just like DJ was talking about a few players, like he was saying Landon Collins, for me, Keon O'Neal. There are other guys that are on defense that actually, change the game. But I think this Madden in general is definitely leaning towards the offensive side of the ball. Um, King Freddie G said, "Do you see a difference between Aaron Rodgers and Blake Bortles?" A lot of people are saying yes.
Oh
Definitely,
yeah,
yeah, definitely.
definitely different.
Just like what Pete F is saying. Curious to see how authentic throwing motions are. They're very authentic. I haven't gone through the whole spill like 2K football now does and compared the two based on real life and what they do, but I know Matt Ryan and I know his throwing motion, and that throwing motion is very authentic from what I see. Um,
Right.
King Cobra also asked, Madden this year has an NCAA feeling. To me, it's not a bad thing. After playing the beta, he enjoyed the pace and fluidity. Hope the pass rush doesn't get nerfed. Um, I like the pace. I don't like the fluidity. Like I said, the game felt too smooth. Um, for me personally, I felt like everybody was on skates, but I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make the game be high quality as far as some PC games are now. Some games run at 60 frames per second or higher, and you feel that twitch, that really authentic, fluid movement of a PC game. So it's hard to get that compared to a guy who's planting their foot in the ground and actually feel like they have weight to them. I have yet to see that to um be pulled off. I think Madden 08 on PC did a pretty decent job doing it, but
Mm-hmm.
you know Yeah, like I said, that's a PC game, but that game was already built with the tangibility of players on the on the field. So with this build of Madden, it'll be curious to see how that goes. Let me see if anybody else said anything. 2K Football now says he still feel like the whole body animation versus arm action. Hmm. I
Oh no, I know what he's talking about
Yeah, I know
because
what he's
there's a
saying.
specific throwing animation it's still in there. It's called Traditional 2. I went and looked for it myself because that's the one that I hated with a passion. I didn't understand why they had quarterbacks throwing like this for Madden for the longest. And it's still in there, but if they can just take it's called Traditional 2 throwing animation. That's the one where they're throwing with their whole body or they're ducking before they throw the ball. I hate that one. They need to just chuck that one. All the rest of them that I got a chance to check out, because I did this when I did the whole create a player portion of it. I didn't do it. Wasn't face of the franchise. I'm just because I created my character as a quarterback, and I went through the throwing motions. And Traditional 2 was the one that they just need to get rid of. No quarterback should have Traditional 2 throwing animation. I cannot stress that enough. They get rid of it. Get it out of there. All the rest of the throwing animations are pretty good. They even have the one I picked is one that if I was a quarterback, I would actually throw it that way. It's kind of like it's like a quick throwing motion with the slight little pause at the end where my hand's down around my hip a little bit, but it was kind of like at my stomach, but I hold it for a little bit. And that's the way I would throw in real life. So I'm like, keep that.
I'm going back to what 2K Football Now said. When I play with Matt Ryan, I put it like this. I felt like it was a total, like you said, a total motion instead of arm strength or arm action. I felt that it's still there, like DJ said. I felt that too, but what offsets that is the actual trajectory of the passes. Like if you use the right or the left stick to actually guide your passes, you're going to get a pass over the linebacker, or you're going to get that in the ground throw, or the one that's towards the player's knees. So I don't think you're going to get that arm action like you have in 2K8, but I think what they have is something that will work for somebody who wants to feel like they have user control over their passes. So I'm okay with that, because Madden is Madden, 2K is 2K. You're never going to get. I don't think you'll ever get both games intertwined to do something that the other one does. Yeah, you may get the button mechanics, but I don't think you're going to get the actual mechanic that's in the game. Freddie G said he think that this game may be tailored towards user versus user experience. He hope the CPU will not be trash. I hope the CPU is not. Please excuse my son. That's my son in the background. But
You want to attend to him?
no. My wife has them. They're all sitting
Oh,
right here. He's watching nursery rhymes on TV. He's excited.
and he's screaming.
Oh yeah. he likes. That's his way of being excited. He loves the nursery rhymes.
I can tell.
But I think the game is tailored to user versus user. I mean, we got to understand what Madden is now. Madden is very, competitor friendly. So it is what it is. I hope that people like Bills or Charter 04 does an amazing job. If he can get the sliders together to where the CPU plays correctly compared to them playing like a user versus user, I think we'll be in good shape. But Freddie G also asked, can Case Keenum and Alex Smith still throw 65 yards on a rope? I have no idea. I did not.
No. I can confirm that.
I don't like I said, I don't. Me personally, I don't go into Madden and look for these things anymore. I just want to play franchise mode, and if I play franchise mode, I'm playing with my one team. So that, to me, it's that one team. Yeah. We're going to try to win a championship. I can care less about playing with other games. So other teams. So I can't say it. DJ says no, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, like I said, and I used to watching Redskins. I know there's probably a couple of Redskins fans in here, so that we all know they can't. No, and that was and like and trust me, what happens, and I think this goes into some people's complaints about a long windup. If you try to throw deep with these weak arm quarterbacks, I'm like, depending upon if you use bullet or lob, they go into that elongated like wind up to launch it down the field. Now, another quarterback that's like that is I would feel like it's Kirk Cousins. I've seen him throw deep passes where he like, and I mean like deep passes. I seen him like put all into it, like arm action, hip action to rotate everything and just release it. And it felt like he put everything he had into it. So yeah, those passes will be underthrown. I actually picked off a pass in a preseason game. What was it? I played the backup Steelers QB who I forgot his name. It doesn't matter to me. I picked him off. He tried to throw a 50-yard pass, and it fell right in my lap. The receiver was 10 yards down the field. So, yeah, those ducks are there.
Erlacher51 said that they improved defensive playbooks. Did they bring back like double slot, double tight end, double Z, double X, double Z like they had the PS2 Madden? No, they don't have those in. I said this before because I think C-Mad said it on Twitter a while back. He said that he had a note or a part of an article saying that everything was mostly catered to the RPO and Philly special and things that they done on offense. And they said nothing was really touched on defense. And I was like, well, Madden 21, I mean, we can be prepared for Madden 21 to touch on that. I don't see where I can see where this direction of Madden is going. So
now
I'm okay with it long as we can get it to work correctly. I think, like I said, I think people will get a pretty good dose of Madden 20 if everything stays the way it is. I think that you have people in the community that help with that. A lot of people don't agree with that, but this is what we're dealing with right now.
Now, what was it? It's Freddie G asked line stunts. No, and Clint even confirmed that they're not there yet.
Yeah, that really
that's basically what he said. They're not there yet.
Yeah, that sucks. Like Erlacher 151 just said, yeah, it does suck. It sucks that you didn't get a balance of both. I mean, it's like with Madden, the developmental cycle of Madden is always tend to cater to one side of the ball. You rarely get where they just try to focus and balance on both. So maybe with the PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox come out, maybe they'll have the time to do that. But this entire generation has been basically one side and the other side and the other side and the other side. It hasn't really been anything that's been touched on to where it's been a balance. So
see with me, I would doubt that because they all have the same amount of time in the next gen as they did with this gen. It's just it's basically what are they prioritizing?
Well, that's true.
That winds up being the thing because, like, even in Clint's answer to the whole line stunts, it was just like, oh, we just couldn't get to it. Now, I'm not saying that's a dev priority. They want to get stuff like that in the game. It's the suits priority. Do they want how to keep hearing about it?
That's a whole nother issue, man.
I know, but it has to be said. It's one of those things where at the end of the day, a suit will place their hand on a deaf's shoulder and it's like, son, I'm gonna need you to take this out the game. I'm losing money.
Oh, you know what?
Or potential income because you put something in the game that's causing me to lose customers.
Before, because I scrolled down the rest of your list. We're gonna touch that in a minute. Right before I say this, I knew that the suits was involved with Madden. It was a problem when NCAA football 05 or 06. They were going to put in the game where if you won a big game, the fans would come onto the field and pull down the goalpost, the field goal post. And that was going to be legendary because that back then when you won a big game on PS2, Madden's or NCAA, it was a big deal, and they were going to add that into the next NCAA game, but the suit said no because they got backlash from some advocate about goalposts. I mean, it was like SJW for
Yeah.
SJW. Yeah, they was
Oh
like,
yeah. I think they was talking about the safety risk because some people got hurt.
dog, it's a video game.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's what I'm saying. But that was the big thing. And ever since then, I was like, okay, this could be a problem with games going forward because pulling down the goalpost was a big deal in college ball. And they took that out. I mean, they didn't even they had it in, but they took it out in the PS2 NCAA games. But I'll pull down the rest of the list of your notes. You want to touch on those?
Yeah, because no one else will be able to figure out what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, I do take notes that I am old school. As you see, this is print. This is actual writing, stars, signals, stuff like that. So, okay, so on the far left, I said fix the sim engine. I'm trying to remember what I was. Oh yeah, that was in. When I was talking about the sim engine, talking about when they go into those when you have injuries, and I believe like the injury and the length are inconsistent when you sim certain games. Like there was one guy, he had a torn MCL, was only out for like 3 weeks. Like I know MCL is not as major as ACL. There was a guy for Achilles tear that was only out for 6 weeks. I was like, come on now.
Yeah, that's
Come on.
crazy. That's crazy.
I'm like, that's a little light. I'm like, come on. Achilles don't heal in 6
Yeah, I
weeks.
mean, I'm playing Madden. I'm playing Madden 08 on original Xbox, and Carson Palmer, he has an Achilles tear, and he's out for the entire year. I think they said something like 18 weeks or something like that. So I mean, like,
Yeah, because you're pretty much out for once you tear your Achilles, you're gone for the season.
right.
Unless you're like Wolverine. Like maybe
um,
they had the game full of Wolverines in the beta,
right.
I guess.
DJ, Freddie G said improved scouting and franchise. What you did you look at it?
Ah, it's the same feature, same mechanics. The only thing is that you pretty much, what is it? It's gonna involve the superstar X factor, the dev traits for the rookies. Apparently, there's gonna be hidden traits that pop up, uh, and you may not know about it unless you develop them a little bit more. Dev traits can change, which enable these abilities. I know if you're playing franchise mode as a player, I know you can. I think they did it just for the beta purpose, but you could select. It gave you a superstar X Factor ability. I think it was because of where I chose myself. I was mid-round draft pick, went to Tampa, did the crazy stuff. And you could choose 2 superstar abilities to go along with that X Factor ability. I chose first one's free because that's what I do in real life. First one's free. I'm juking everyone out. That's what I do. So, but I was a quarterback, a scrambling quarterback. So I also chose dashing, deadeye. I chose deadeye in and out, and I chose. There are a ton of deadeyes in this game. It's got more deadeyes than 2K basketball.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah,
A lot of deadeyes in here. I'm like, God damn. So I chose that, and I forgot. Oh, Last Ditch is an ability that produces more of a release as you're getting hit versus like holding on to the ball and taking the sack. So if you have Last Ditch, then that's a good one to have if you're complaining about getting sacked and where you thought you should have released the ball. So
Freddie G also asked. Freddie G also asked, "Is it harder or easier to progress?" I mean, to be honest, if you want my opinion, and I haven't even touched it, I'm almost certain it's the same as last year. That's my guess already.
Now with 2K football, I'm gonna go back to injuries are way over the. No, you can adjust it. Adjust the slider. When it's in play now, it's at 10. When it's in franchise, they up it to 40. You probably want to drop that slider once you, if you're getting the game, you're gonna. And they did this last year, and they did it before. I found this out as I was playing the last two Maddens. So you have to turn down the Madden, the injury slider to probably, like, I would say about, you want to get some type of injuries. I'm like, because the higher what it is, and I said this, I think it was mentioned in a past broadcast about when you up the slider, the injury slider, it's more of an injury severity type. So yeah, you'll see, maybe some catastrophic injuries, but you'll see a lot of in-game injuries where you have to choose versus ones that, like, every now and then, oh, this player's out, more likely he's going to be out for the game or he's going to be out for some weeks. So I would say probably you're going to have to turn down the injury sliders once you get into
I think my main
franchise.
thing, as far as the frequency, Madden 18 was really bad with it. Madden 19 was okay, but 18 was really, I lost like half of my players in 18. So I mean, I that's when I first learned I had to turn it down. But I think with 19 was okay. I didn't have a problem with it. But logically, like I said, the some injuries just didn't do too well. Since back then. So I hope everything continues to even out along with the rest of the gameplay as far as injuries, or we just gonna have to use the slider again.
The last thing I'll say about the injuries is that they will not be good until they put a wear and tear system. I did a video on this using 2K as an example because
I want to touch
2K.
on that in a second, but Kiko, I'm gonna touch on that in a second.
Okay, but yeah, 2K's wear and tear system for NBA 2K. I'm like, right now, it's the best wear and tear system that you have. That will, you are able to see injuries before they even take place. That's, I think, arena football back in the day had wear and tear in their game, and that's what Madden would need when they redo their whole injury system. I don't know when it'll be. They should have done it years ago because it absolutely makes no sense. The injuries that pop up, I'm like, you do see repetitive injuries like broken collarbone, shoulder tear, and stuff like that, but you don't know why. And there's supposed to be season fatigue in the franchise mode, but you don't really notice it. So they have to institute a system like wear and tear where you can see the progress of your player in game and also as the season progresses, because these injuries always come out of nowhere, and even the injury itself doesn't make any sense to what happened to them.
But my thing with wear and tear is like it's there. It's there. I mean, I ain't gonna say it's there like Madden 18, 19, 20, or even in the NCAA 14 had a wear and tear system. Like if you run the ball with somebody too much, their icon in the play calling menu will turn red. And
Yeah, that's their fatigue level.
yeah, but I'm saying that's their form of wear and tear as well. It's like if they take
Yeah, which is not good enough.
yeah, but
Yeah.
like if they get hit enough, the same thing will happen. If they keep getting hit, they're more prone to get injured or fumble the ball. I don't know why they don't at the bare minimum still have that in the game. That's why I was like, the wear and tear is there. It's just that is either they don't use it or it's just non-existent at all. I don't get it. I mean, yeah, their form of wear and tear is not what we think it is, but it's there to the point where okay, I can see where this guy don't need to be taking too many hits while he's running the ball. I might need to put him out for a little bit, or I might need to go do another play. You don't want to run the ball with him 6 times in a row, and you're wondering why he's getting hurt. I mean that's just logical when you're playing football in general. So hold on. I think somebody else said something real quick.
Mhm.
I know Pete F asked how's play action. I answered that in the chat. Play action is okay, but like I said earlier, you have the AI. They take a second to react to certain things, and you'll have that problem. So yeah, 2K Football Now also says it's is there a season wear and tear in Madden where over certain amounts of carries lead to a less effective runner late in season. I haven't played franchise that long to find out.
I still haven't seen it because it shouldn't even get to the late in the season to notice wear and tear. It's football. You're gonna get wear and tear right then and there.
No,
Where
I think what he's saying, DJ, is like if you have a lot of carries with the player, do the progression or their in do their ratings go down because you've used them a lot. Um,
no, I haven't seen that.
yeah, I haven't seen that. I haven't.
So that would involve regression with
Yeah,
what they
progression.
have right now, and that and shoot. Speaking of regression, um,
I haven't played
I
no.
know they're being forgiving this year with regression, which is a bad thing. I don't like that they're being forgiving as far as regression. Because
AP.
I simmed the whole season, I didn't see regressions based on how many sacks they took and stuff like that. Those type of things, I didn't really see
Yeah,
that
I know. Like
all that much.
I know in down the line in the PS2 or the original Xbox Maddens. I mean, I've done this plenty of times. Like with Michael Vick. Michael Vick will regress because I scramble with him a lot. Or like I said, if I played like the later version when I had another quarterback, if I use him a lot to where he's throwing a lot of passes or whatever, especially if he's not successful at completing passes, he will regress. Um, other linemen, it's just like it's normal for them to regress, but at the end of the season, or if you just let them get a rest, you will see a progression, especially with younger players. So I haven't seen it in Madden 20 because, like I said, I only played practice. I just want to know the mechanics of the game and how they're running. I haven't gotten into franchise mode or whatever. People like NY Kia, DJ, I know Bills. If Bills is here, he will tell you. NY Kia is in the chat. You can ask him about that. They would know much better. I'm sorry, Philly 215 says seems better than 19, 18, and 17. I agree. I think the games are better on that, better than those. Um, Doug Thomas asked, "What about the weather? Does it affect players?" I haven't seen anything to that extent.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm like,
that should be in the game by now. I'm surprised that it's not. Crowd noises is there. Does it affect the players? I haven't seen anything to suggest that either. Um, 2K, I'm sorry, Erlacher 51 said at this point, if Madden 20 doesn't live up to expectations, he's fine with playing old Madden's NCAA, 2K5, and PS2 and Xbox. Um, this is one thing that goes beyond our thoughts and commentary of Madden 20 beta. I would think at this point where a lot of people who are playing these football titles would at least have one game that they can go back to if they have a football itch. I have four right now that I can go back and play: NCAA Football 14, NFL 2K5, NCAA Football 08 and Madden 08, and every now and then I still do play Madden 17. So I can't see where other people do not have a fix of football if they claim they love football gaming as much as they do. I think a lot of people in this community, they just rag on Madden and they refuse to play another game to be satisfied. And quite frankly, I don't want this to sound, bad or whatever. I don't want people to watch our podcast if they're doing that. I mean, you're bringing that same energy every week that down with Madden, FBA, but you're not bringing anything to the table to tell us what are you doing to get your football fix. Are you enjoying this? Are you enjoying that? It seems like a lot of people are just F Madden. It's like I that's old. I don't need that energy in our podcast. So that goes
and
beyond
then at the
like
same time, you do have your fanboys, so you have to
right.
be aware of them too,
Like I
because
said,
they're on the other side of it, and that's wrong. I'm not even gonna say it's wrong. That could be bad for energy as well,
yeah. I mean,
because you
my
don't
thing
want
is
it more one side than the other.
right. My thing is just be honest with what you're doing. And if you're honest with what you're doing, if you're a diehard fanboy for Madden, that's cool. I appreciate you coming by and listening to the show or whatever, but don't expect if don't expect if you don't get any dialogue between us, because I can't talk to you and be like try to have you more open minded, and if you're just one sided, just I love Madden, or on the flip side that I just love another game, or 2K football, and I can't change your mind, because we're here to actually expand upon what we really think as far as football games. So like 2K football now, his name is 2K football now, but he's literally given some form of feedback on how he feels about Madden 20 or Madden in general. So it's like
Mhm.
I can talk to him about that. You know, just like with anything else. Like we talk about Madden, but we talk about other sports in general. I don't want nobody coming in to just say they're cool with a certain sports topic that we talk about. I need more feedback as far as more open mindedness. So um like I said, I can care less if somebody just one sided with the whole situation. So um
All right. Well,
go
let's
ahead.
get back to
Yeah, go ahead.
there's still some stuff on here.
Yeah, go
You
ahead.
know,
Go ahead.
we're all boo-hooing about the fanboys and the 2K haters, but anyway. Um, so another thing. Okay, I had to tell you a cool story about the scenario engine because that piqued my interest. That scenario engine, it has potential. It has great potential. I know there's something there. They're also it because franchise this year is going to be a live service. That they're going to add some stuff, and we'll see how that works. But cool story. Cam Sims, for those Redskins fans, you know about him. He's from the University of Alabama. His rookie season was last year. Now, unfortunately, he got hurt. Wasn't able to, but he performed really well in preseason. About 6'5", about 230 something. Big receiver. He looks like a prototypical receiver compared to what we have currently. So I'm simming the season, and midway through the season, I get a pop up that from Cam Sims, and it's like, look, I want to be the number one receiver. Just give me the ball. That was the gist of what the scenario engine popped up. So, it set some goals for the next game to get this specific player the opportunity. Either he get 100 yards for that game. This was against the Patriots, so and I didn't make that switch yet because I still had Josh Dotson as the number one, but he was either to get 2 touchdowns or 100 yards receiving. If he would accomplish either one or maybe both, his dev trait would change that after that game.
That's
And I
interesting.
think in his current dev trait is sitting at normal. It would have gone up to superstar. He would have based off of that, he would have acquired a couple of superstar abilities, or maybe one, or whatever the case may be. But the path of the path of his career could have changed in that one game. Now, it didn't really change because a couple of games later, I swapped Cam Sims, put him at number one receiver. I dropped Josh Dotson to the number 3. At this moment, Paul Richardson was just eating everybody alive because not only did I have Paul Richardson as number 2, I also had him number 1 in the slot. Richardson scored 10 touchdowns by the time I was done with that season. Made the Pro Bowl, and he developed a superstar trait at the end of the season, going into next season. This man had in and out abilities where you can create separation, and he had another route, double move God or whatever the case was for Richardson Jr. But Cam Sims now is was until the beta ended, the number one receiver in my franchise that played out. So there's some players, and mind you, Cam Sims was still in his 60s overall rating wise, but
But you
because
know
he
that,
has certain traits in his
yeah.
side.
Now I'm about to say you do know that Clint did say that certain ratings, overall ratings, wouldn't matter
Oh
based
yeah,
on the player that you have on the field.
nah, I learned from that experience with the scenario engine that if there's an opportunity for one of your players, no matter what their overall is, to possibly get a dev trait that could accelerate their training, do it. Or
Yeah.
maybe not do it. It just depends on who you think deserves it or not. But I felt like,
Now,
if I was an actual coach in real life and a player came to me that's lower on the depth chart, was like, look, I'm trying to be number one. Give me the opportunity.
now
I
this
probably
is
would have given him the opportunity because he
now
clearly wants it over Josh Dotson.
now this is the beautiful thing about that compared to the lovely, and I don't care what anybody say, the lovely developers that developed the NCAA games. They had stuff like this in the NCAA. I don't know. NY Kid could probably attest to this for me. There were some players who came in as a freshman and they had certain things that they could do better than what they did with the certain juniors on the team. So you would try to get that guy out there first, and their overalls or their other ratings were they would move faster than that junior. Yeah, obviously the junior been there 2 years 2 years prior, but if you had that freshman, and let's say if he was 6'4", 210, and he was a receiver compared to that junior that was maybe 6'1", 180, he had the potential to take over. Even with the lower overall, he would just be more inclined to do more things with his size and his abilities. I mean, it was like completely under the hood. And like in my kids also, yeah, he's right. If you didn't play those certain players, they'll bounce on you. So you will have to use your personnel. So what they have in Madden 20, I mean, it's more in your face like what it is, but under the hood, NCAA 14 kind of had this already, which is
Mhm.
which is very good. I think this aspect has a lot of potential, like you said.
Yeah, and then also another thing, the scenario engine is gonna play more of a factor when you create a player versus as a coach, and it seems to disappear in the owners. I don't even know why they have the owners role in there. To me the
Layback.
owners mode has been a total waste of time. They need to either make it a GM or they need to scrap it and revamp that, because I look at NHL, I can see the scenario engine playing the NHL, and I bet you right out the gate with NHL, they have a scenario engine per se. That game will blow past Madden's version of the scenario engine easily, along with a lot of things that I've called out in the past that have passed by Madden that NHL has done, just like physics. But that's another story.
Yeah, that's another story. Indeed. I'm gonna look at some of the guys in the chat to see what they said. Freddie G says that CPU being so incompetent, ball carrier vision, QB lack of play, he can't do it. Okay, so I guess he's talking about the game. That's why he's been harping on CPU as an offline player. Yeah, like I said, you're gonna have to rely on some of these guys that are out here, just making the game better. Honestly, that's if
Mhm.
Madden 20 is actually that is that bad as far as the CPU AI. Yeah, let's see who else said anything. Somebody asked about scheme fits. They're pretty much the same. Doug Thomas says you love NCAA 14. I do too. Halftime shows, weekly wrap ups, any improvements. I didn't see anything as far as what other people were playing.
It looks the same. I'm
Uh,
like, coach, the dude, coach, I forgot his name. He's still there, and he's annoying, just like they did a few years ago with that one announcer. So they really need, like, the thing that I can say is that they need to scrap their whole presentation. Like, you see it in big bold letters on your screen right now. Need to scrap current canned cutscenes. Like, the other thing, the rotating camera view on the replay needs to go like crazy. They need to, do everything real time.
I don't
2K
understand.
has.
I don't
Oh, go ahead.
understand. I don't understand why Madden just copies what 2K did. Is basically give you a TNT presentation without the TNT. What Madden can do just give you the NFL Network without saying NFL Network. I don't understand why they don't do that. Doug
Well,
Thomas also. I think I'm gonna go back real quick. Doug Thomas said he
mhm.
loved NCAA 14. Let me tell you guys something. Like seriously, college football games may not come back no time soon outside of Doug Flutie, and I think Doug Flutie's gonna be a decent game. Y'all need to go ahead and like get $80 or $100 and go ahead and just get an old console and get NCAA 14. You won't regret it. It's still a good game to play right now. It's a very good game to play. I highly recommend still getting that. Erlacher at me on in the chat said just got Madden 08 on PS2 last week and was surprised to see weapons abilities and I love the historic teams. Wish they could bring the historic teams back in newer Maddens. I agree. Um, PS2 Maddens are just they're just great. That particular type of game, the way they set up the software, the mechanics, to this day, I still think it's one of the best, if not the best form of football gaming you can have right now. 2K Football now says is the scenario engine more weekly goals because they're not a fan of them, like to run the game plan and play calls not dependent on hitting goals. DJ could touch that. Um, put him in the game. Say he's gonna cop Doug Flutie. I am too. I think that has a lot of promise. Um,
Mhm.
I'm trying to think anything else. Coachman. I'm not gonna mess with Coachman. I'm gonna leave him. Doesn't he do WWE or something?
He's kind of, he was on ESPN for a little bit, and then he went back to WWE. They've kind of relaxed on him a bit. Like he's not on WWE as much as he was when he initially came back. Because I know beforehand they had him in storylines and stuff like that in the WWE. So
Um,
yeah,
Houston, Texas 224 said, "Congrats, brothers, on the podcast." Man, we're just trying to get better every week, man. I mean, we wanted to do this one because the beta is just finished. We didn't want to wait till Thursday to talk about it. By then, people probably forgot. So while it's still fresh in people's minds, we can have a discussion.
exactly.
We can have a discussion about it. And thanks everybody who came through, put them in the game. Definitely saying, hit the like button, let people know. More likes, more people will watch. Not necessarily watch it, to pull up in the search engine. iTunes, SoundCloud, this episode definitely is going to be on there as well. So if you want to go back and listen to us without using YouTube, definitely do that. um Doug Thomas says he still has the 360 version, thinking about getting the 360 now. Like I said, listen, the problem with these games, listen everybody, we're playing an RPG. These games are sports RPGs. You level up, you see get players progress and regress, no different than any other RPG you play. So with that being said, these games are built for longevity. Sadly, we don't get to play these games for a long period of time because of the next game come out right away. This is one reason why NFL 2K5 basically is still revered, because there's a lot of things in that game that people didn't know about. Certain animations, certain certain mechanics. Same thing with NCAA 14. A lot of people don't realize how deep that game really is. Some people don't realize how deep the current Maddens are. We don't get to play them as long as we want to see what's actually in these games. Then not to mention with the patches and updates, and they're right along 9 months later, they're pushing another Madden on you. So we don't get the chance to dive in these games. That's one of the reasons why when this beta came out, I dived directly into what the mechanics of the game entails. It's unfortunate because you don't have the chance to really see what the developers actually did in the games. So like I said, NCAA 14, that game is way more advanced than a lot of people think it is. NY just said he's playing NCAA right now. I mean, it's a game you honestly, if you really take the game for what it is and go through and play the game, there's so much into a lot of these games, not just Madden, NCAA, NBA 2K. It's a prime example. NBA Live is another one, but 2K basketball is a prime example. Those games are so they're built with so much content in it on the court. It's not going to take us 1 year to actually understand what let's say for instance NBA 2K16 entailed. The post play in that game is so deep, like you're not going to realize it, because 2K17 is coming out. Oh, now I got to play 2K17. Well, you're missing out on probably, in some cases, 60 to 70% of the game, what it entails, because we only touched the 30% within that one dev cycle. So it's unfortunate because NCAA 14 or any other game that we're looking back on. Another prime example, 2K football now, right now, he shows it every day with on Pro Football 2K8. That game is so deep, but once people realized that 2K9 wasn't coming out and, okay, all we got to deal with is Madden 09, or we're going to see what Backbreaker's talking about, people just left 2K8, but that game is very much a very deep game. 2K football now just said there are aspects of APF that he never noticed till much later. I did that with 2K5. There's a lot of things in those games that we didn't know until later. NCAA 14 the same way. So with Madden 20, I think we're going to have a situation where this game is built very well as of right now, even with patches and updates or whatever. Madden 20 we may not know the full potential of Madden 20 because Madden 21 may turn right around and tell us, hey, we got this in front of your face, try this out. And we're probably only going to touch maybe 30 to 40% of the potential of the game. That's one thing me and DJ always advocated for, that, sports title should be a 2-year dev cycle.
I was just thinking about that
Yeah.
earlier too.
We talked about that a long time ago. It should be at least 2 years because we don't get and it's a detriment to the developers' work. I mean, they're putting a lot of stuff in this game. We don't get to touch it because right around the corner, the suits are telling them, hey, Madden 21, you need to go ahead and push this, and this because we need more money for this fiscal year. So that game is pretty much tucked under the rug unless you're somebody like me that continuously play these games after the other games come out. You don't know the potential of these games. So I just did that with Madden 17, so uh that's just another aspect that we could talk about down the road. Anything else you want to add with your notes, DJ?
Let's see. There was stuff that I felt like was some glitches. Obviously, I had received the text message, the scenario engine about Khalil Mack during the Pro Bowl week, but I'm controlling the NFC, so why in the hell was I getting a pop up about Khalil Mack when he's on our team? So that one was kind of goofy. The playoff times, I'm like, yeah, there were a couple of games on the same day that were at 1:00. So, that needs to be looked at. That needs to be looked at. I figure those are glitches. Let's see what else. I kind of felt like all that just to finally get the Pro Bowl in there. They could have done some other things more worthy. I could have gone without playing the Pro Bowl this year. They could have added some more worthwhile franchise.
I'm gonna be honest with you, DJ. I am dead serious when I say this. Mm-hmm. I had no idea that the Pro Bowl was not in Madden. I am dead serious. I usually just I haven't gone far in a franchise mode in the latest Madden since Madden 25. So I really didn't understand it. So
well, the thing was, it goes along with the fact that you can't watch any of the other games except your user can control games. And here's another thing about the Pro Bowl that makes me suspicious about something. Now, I don't know. Now, I know that Pro Bowl has been totally unplayable but your coach is selected as the Pro Bowl coach, not the AFC NFC Championship runner-up. Your coach. So in my season, the Redskins didn't make the playoffs. So what the hell is Jay Gruden doing coaching the Pro Bowl? It pops up and says, hey, congratulations. You've been selected to coach the NFC Pro Bowl team. Here's the list of the Pro Bowlers. Now, here's the thing. Also with that, just to go on, the list of Pro Bowlers, they didn't have the kicker and the punter. So what the hell? They could have not done the Pro Bowl this year. I don't know who they were catering to. I don't know who sucked their dick. It's one of those things. It's one of those that they could have not done it at
I'm
all.
gonna get
They could have worked on something else.
Yusuf said, is it significantly better than Madden 19? Yes, Madden 20 is better than 19 in a significant way. I could tell you like there's an instance where if you play 20, you may not want to go back to 19. I can see that. Um, I haven't played much of 19 since they took RPM out. But with Madden 20, if anything is still if everything's still on the up and up, I can say definitely yes. As of right now, it's better than 19. Houston, Texas 224 said that he's still hearing about legacy issues still in the game. Yeah, there's still some legacy
Yeah,
AI
it's the
issues.
same. It's still the same code underneath, so
Yeah,
they're gonna be
like I
there.
said, I think at the end of the day, the thing about Madden 20, like I said earlier, you're dealing with a Madden that actually the outcomes are actually way more logical now. So it's where that if you play this game, you're not gonna be seeing no craziness going on as far as in the past. So I'm I think that's the main thing that I take away from Madden 20, that when you're playing the game, the outcomes make sense way more better than before. Um our backup
Let me.
lineman still making a Pro Bowl. I didn't
Oh
know that.
yeah, I read that and I was like, damn,
If that's the case, that's
I didn't
terrible.
see that at all. Like even from past Maddens, I'm like, that's troubling.
Yeah, I didn't know. I mean, I couldn't tell you that. That's crazy. Um, Houston, Texas 224 also said they can keep the extras. He need the AI improve logic and touch up the warping. Warping, I haven't seen. I've seen very little of that. Improve AI logic needs to be touched up. I definitely Geddon's deer legs are still in game.
I'm about to say, are we actually using that dude to coin a
Yeah,
phrase or
I'm gonna be
something?
honest with
Yeah,
you. I'm gonna put it like this. I can't take Geddon's word for anything at value at this point anymore. I just can't, because he's a staunch advocate of anti-EAism. So even if you show him something that's logical, you probably won't get uh a positive response out of it. To me,
well,
he's way too anti-EA to honestly be, take his word for anything. Because it's like anything that he says is like, okay, you already know what's coming out of his mouth.
see, and
So
the funny thing is, we're not saying that you need to be pro EA. Just be balanced.
yeah, just be honest. There are some things in Madden 20 that is good. There's some things in Madden 20 that are bad. But when you come to that, and we talked about this earlier about people who are anti or pro, it's like if you're that far on either side, we can't talk to you. What can you bring to the table that's like, for people to sit back and say, okay, I can work with that. I can have a dialogue with you. You know what I'm saying? I can't have dialogue with somebody who's too extreme pro EA or pro anti EA. It's very hard to have a dialogue with them. So with that being said, it's like, I mean, what is he talking about? You can't talk. It's all. I hate to put it like this. It's almost hard to talk to somebody who's like a staunch person with religion. It's like you can't say nothing to them because at the end of the day, they're always going to side with that side. So you can't have an honest, uh, dialogue with them. Let's see what else anybody else says. EA should have lowered the price to win back consumers. They're not going to do that. That's not EA's. That's not EA's call. Um,
Remember that hand on shoulder?
yeah, and
I
honestly,
can feel that hand right about now. This
you see
podcast is gonna lose me money, son. I'm gonna have to cut this off.
um, you see what happened last time when another company lowered the price of an NFL game. You saw what
Yeah,
happened with that,
they lost the chance to get the license.
right? Yeah, they lost the license because that was the beginning of the end of multiple teams or multiple companies playing buying or using the license for a game when the game was 1999. So
Yeah, because that was the NFL suits. place their hands on 2K shoulders like, you cost me money, you got to go.
Right. So lowering the price is a death sentence for a NFL product. You're not going to do that. Not saying that I don't disagree. I mean that I don't agree. I'm sorry, that's a double negative. It's not saying that I don't agree with you. I think the price should be lowered, but for them to actually do it, nah, that's not. I'm almost certain with the exclusivity license, I'm pretty sure there's a clause in that contract to say that look, you can't go lower than X amount of dollars to put our game out there.
And just to finalize my thoughts on deer legs, I really don't see any deer legs in that game.
I'm still trying to
Like
figure out what are their legs. I mean, Freddie G asked the same question.
extremely skinny legs on the players. That's basically what he's talking about.
Can somebody show me a picture of any Madden body type that does
where
have
it
that?
appears, and I hope it's not doctored footage
Yeah,
because some people like to control images and kind of warp them a little bit. And maybe if they're taking off-screen photos, I can't accept those. They have to be direct caption because
he's talking about the leg slightly being bent. I mean, the player models, all of them pretty much stand like that in Madden. That's been a legacy issue for a long time. But if that's called deer legs, I mean, do deer legs bend like that?
No,
Yeah,
their legs bend the opposite. In the front they bend, but in the back they bend a little differently.
yeah. Put them in a game. Ask. Rate the beta from 1 to 10. I give it a solid 8. I give it an 8. I give it a. If the AI was a little bit tighter, I'll give it a 9.
I'm a huge franchise guy, so I'm like, off the beta, just the beta. We still have this retail to worry about. So as of right now, I give it like a 7.
But see, I haven't played the franchise, so I can't tell you because a lot of people
Yeah,
if a lot of people saying that the franchise mode is still somewhat same is the same. I can see where you're saying a 7. I say 8 based on the mechanics and the gameplay that I've endured for the past 2 days. So like I said, for me, all I did was play in the practice mode where I was trying to figure out the mechanics and the AI from my one particular team. Now, with my experience with that, I thought the game played pretty good. Like I said, I give it an 8. If the AI wasn't so bad, I'll say a 9. My nephew, I mean not my nephew, my son loves these nursery rhymes. He is like on it.
I think we already talked about the speed boosting. Sometimes it pops up. I think each individual person who plays the game or played the beta will have different experiences as far as the speed boosting. I experienced it on a couple of plays, and I understood it for what it was. Now, I wasn't gonna go ape shit over it because to me it wasn't happening at the rate that some people may may want you to think it happens. I'm like, some people want you to think that this happens on every single play, but wow.
Speed boosting mostly. I see it like, let's say when I was playing against Keanu Neal, like if he zeroes in on you and hit sticks you, I saw that like he would speed up to hit you. Or like if Julio Jones goes up for a catch, I've seen him go up a little faster than normal to go up for that catch. Now that's an issue with the core, code of the game. That's going to be,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Freddie G asked me, have I used those mechanics? When I say mechanics, I'm not talking about the X Factor or the superstar mechanic. I'm talking about like how the game runs, the how the game is playing. What I've noticed, like when I see the linemen interact with each other, or when I see a tackle happens, like when I see one player gets tackled going one way and another guy comes another way and alters that entire tackle. The way a one-handed catch would be, or how the spin moves react. Like I said, with the trucking and the stiff arm being non-existent with the running backs, those mechanics of the game, how the game runs, they're flawed with the running back, stiff arm, and the trucking. But for the most part, I think the mechanics played out very well to the point where a little bit of AI tweaking, you'll have a pretty good game as far as everything actually working, playing out the way it's supposed to. So
All
that's
right,
what I
now,
mean by mechanics.
now Yusuf just said we will see if you guys are loving Madden 20 after the
Oh,
first patch
no,
comes out. Now, first of all, who said we were loving the game? And two, if you weren't listening earlier, I said I was holding off on the game. So
I don't.
there's nothing to love if I don't have the game for the first 2 weeks. So
I don't
that's
think I don't think Yusuf really listened to us in prior episodes as well. I've said this from the beginning.
oh no, I ain't talking about prior episode. I'm talking about within this one.
No, no, I'm just saying. Yeah, you're right, but I'm just going back further, even further back than that. When
Hmm.
you look at what I said back then, maybe 2, 3 episodes ago, I think this game is a $20 game. You know why? Because a third of the game, the third of the cycle of the game, you're probably going to enjoy this game because after like 2 or 3 months, that have 1 or 2 patches come in, the game is not going to be up to par. That's why I've always said if you can get this on EA Access, if you pay $15 to play this game for a month, I think you're good. You know, but if the game stays the way it is, I can see somebody playing this game and paying $65 and playing this game as is because this is not a Madden 19 situation to where, even with the problems, at post patch, you still seen severe legacy issues. So with the game built the
Hmm.
way it is, I think it's okay to play this game at $60. But even with put them in the game, say GameFly, yes. But that first patch is
People
always,
still use GameFly.
yeah,
Wow,
exactly right. But I think that
like a Betamax of game
that
stream.
prior to the first patch, I think this is a good game to play. First patch, all bets are off. That's why I say, if you got a month to get, like I said again, Origin access on PC, or if you got EA access to play it like from the beginning, you're good. So, no, I mean, I'm with you right there, Yusuf. I don't think that too many people will like the game if they patch it crazy like that. You know, you know.
Now, just to go with that first patch and stuff like that, it from what I keep seeing is that it plays good the first few weeks of the game, then they start patching it. It kind of coincides with the E League or the E Championship esports aspect of the season. Once that's over, then they release a final patch, which will be after the Super Bowl, stuff like that. Like mid February, all of a sudden the game plays good again. So that what reason why I said that, because that may give you guys as consumer time periods where you may want to get the game, play the game. You play it in the first few weeks. If you have a friend that lets you borrow it and hold it and stuff like that, you can play it then. And then unfortunately, they go through their esports period and all the competitive players that are crying about the modes and stuff like that. They get their needs taken care of throughout that whole season. And once they're out the way, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, now the hardcore players, the sim players, will get the game that they were looking for, minus whatever what was in the feature set. So the gameplay plays good in the first few weeks, and then after the esports league is over with. So
Hold on. Pete said the problem for him is feedback from casuals leading to patches over design at launch. Yet that's the same thing that has been happening with Madden for Jesus, what, every Madden since what, 25? I mean, and that's what we've been dealing with. Yusuf also asked, how much time is Madden taking up your game availability? I mean, when the beta came out, it took up pretty much all my time. We
yeah,
can't say,
that's what it did for me. It took
yeah,
up all my time, but then at the same time, it's like I was pretty much done with playing the beta. I stopped an hour before it went off the air because I wasn't gonna be one of those people that was like, the beta's over. Oh my god, no.
yeah, but I
I'm not.
mean, this year with Madden 20, if it drops the same way and it is untouched, if I get the game, like I said, I'll probably get it on PC with Origin Access. I have the first month. if everything's still on the up and up and it doesn't get patched and nothing crazy happen, I can see myself possibly dropping one of my games that I play already on franchise mode to actually implement this game. Like for instance, I play in Madden 17 right now. Still, I have a franchise in my fourth year with that. If this game stays the way it is, I can see myself implementing that game, and it'll be another, a game in my wheel that I play. So I can see that, but I don't know as of right now. That's hard to say.
Now, now, just to answer in another fashion, as far as Madden 20 for the fall, there are plenty of other games that I play. I'm one
Yeah,
of those people that I don't need Madden football
yeah. I just started
to
playing
make
Borderlands
it through.
I just
Because
started playing
some,
Borderlands 2, Witcher 3, so I've been on those lately as well.
I'm like, I have more hours on No Man's Sky than I have on Madden, at least the last two Madden. So that gives you a hint that I have other games that I will play. There are other sports games, preferably NHL, NBA 2K. You have the wrestling games, even though the wrestling game needs to improve. There's just too many games that one game, even though it's the only NFL football game, I am not one of those people that is stuck because of that.
I mean, not only
And
that.
I don't think you guys should be either.
I mean, not only that.
There are other games out here there that should be getting your guys' time and not wasting time, spending time with a company who will and through their one studio, because EA Canada, Vancouver, wherever they want to call themselves, they seem to do well with their sports games. UFC is pretty good game. NHL, FIFA, those are all EA Vancouver titles. I
I
don't know
mean,
what's going on with Tiburon.
I mean, I've been playing other games that's not sports games. Like literally, even though I play these football games, like I said, I just started The Witcher 3 finally. I've been playing Borderlands 2, the Handsome Collection. Uh, on my PlayStation 2, I've been playing Dragon Quest 8, and I've been going over to play Final Fantasy 7 again. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing other games. So, but as far as Madden, it's unfortunate, and I hate to say it like this, but it's unfortunate that Madden is not that game that we had back in the PlayStation 2 era. In the PlayStation 2 era, you can play Madden every day, all day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that. Those type of games back then it kept you immersed. Madden, Madden hasn't done that for me since like Madden 25. It sucks, but I mean, it's hard to say. Let me look on the. A lot of
I'm
people say
just
they're
looking at Yusuf's.
no.
Yeah, I just see Yusuf's question, which is greater, APF or Madden 20. I'm like, Madden 20 has a better franchise mode than APF, so I'm
Um,
a franchise guy.
a
So
lot of people are saying that 2K football say he has no desire to play Madden. I mean, I hate to say it like this, but it's not a surprise. um, let's see.
and
Doug
I
Tom-
agree with 2K football now. He said that is subjective on who you ask. That is true.
yeah, I mean, and I totally understand why 2K football now is not playing when has no desire to play in Madden 20. I mean, look at his Twitter. I mean, he loves APF, but at the same time, unlike other people who are anti EA, this guy has given us a lot of feedback on how he feels about Madden 20. He's not in here in the tweet and in the chat saying "Long live 2K" and "F Madden" like some of these other people are. That just it doesn't make the dialogue. It doesn't make the discussion. It doesn't help the dialogue at all with the podcast. So I just can't see how people constantly would want to do that. Like just be anti that much to the point where you cannot even have a discussion with them. But I'm looking at other stuff. Doug Thomas says he's playing Division 2 in MLB The Show.
Yep.
Freddie G just put it perfectly. Don't play a game that isn't worth your time. Yes, Pooh, I do play Dragon Quest. Let's see. Um,
See,
Houston,
and that's
Houston,
I was about
Texas,
to
he
say.
said those were the days. There were the days when you only thing was on your mind was playing Madden. PS2 Madden had it. Like look, you going home, you're going to continue to progress in your game. It doesn't do that anymore. Let me see anybody else. Pointless trolls. Yeah, exactly. Yusuf said 2K APF or Madden 20, which is greater. Personally, I only played what's on the field right now. I can't say it's a push. APF still has the advantage because Madden 20 has AI issues that needs to be fixed. If those AI issues are fixed, it's almost a push, honestly. As far as playing the game mechanically and replication, APF still has it. Um, Anything else? Let's see. No, I don't care for Smash Brothers. I'm not going there. DJ, you got anything else?
I used to play Smash Brothers back in the day.
Yeah,
That
I
was
did
it was
too.
pretty
I
fun,
did too.
but
I did too. It's fun,
on,
but I'm past it now. I just no.
yeah, I've been past it. Like I said, I got games like the Division Two. I need to get back into it. By the way, I haven't been on there in a while. Battlefield 5. I need to jump back on there for a little bit, but I'm kind of um, dismayed by Battlefield 5 anyway.
Oh
I
God,
still
I'm
think
not even going
Battlefield.
there. I'm not going there.
Yeah, I'm still Battlefield 4 and Bad Company
Oh
2.
my God, Battlefield 4. But you know what's funny? Battlefield 4 might be the best shooter this generation for consoles, and that's a PS3 game.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Are Force Defenders better? As far as what I've seen in what you call it in Madden 20, yes. They have Deion Jones for the Falcons. Basically, is my Force Defender. He does pretty good. Um, let's see. Smitty and Sim are loving the game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. They tend to love Madden more than I would think you should, but that's a different story for another day. Um, Battlefield 4 Squad Up, definitely. Maybe tomorrow or this weekend we can do that because I'm always down for Battlefield 4. Um, any, anything else? Anybody got in the chat that you want to touch on as far as Madden 20? Yay, nay. Battlefield
I'm
5
sitting
getting
there.
better. I can care less about Battlefield 5, honestly. I've been playing a lot of Insurgency. That game needs to come to consoles. You guys are missing out on a lot. If you haven't gotten that game, if you don't have that game on PC, you're missing a lot. That game is amazing. It needs to come to consoles like yesterday. Um, I like King Harbo's game. I like it a lot. I like what they have on there. He said he wants it to come to Switch. I'm not sure if it will, but it would be nice to see.
Okay, I'm reading pump fakes better. Yes. Just that's all I'm gonna say. Yes. They don't work every single time. They
Oh, Pump Fakes
work,
work now. Yeah, Pump Fakes work
yeah,
now.
they work
Support.
when you use it correctly. And that's keyword. You can't just do it every single time. And because trust me, I tried it. I tried to use pump fake on every single play at one point, and you may not even spot who it faked out. I'm like, all it takes is like you use the pump fake, and all of a sudden you see a defender just hold still for a second.
I think
But
King.
you
I
gotta
think
have that eye downfield to see what's going on.
yeah, player movement is better in Madden 20. Obviously, yes, it is. Freddie G. Don't lie about Havo's product. No, I actually like it. I think it'd be really good for the Nintendo Switch. I don't look at it as a game that we're gonna play comparing to Madden or 2K or whatever like that. Um,
Again, the screens, it depends on how you use it. You can't. I'm like, if you're saying asking.
I got a question. When the screens were bad, I always had a success with the screens ever since Madden 25.
And to tell you the truth, certain sliders can mess up how the screen game operates. So if you tune the blocking a certain way, then the
Now
screens
I've been
effectively
playing
are
on
nullified.
for the most part. I've been playing on stock outside of Madden 17. I've been using Charter or 4 sliders, but I haven't had a problem with the screens at all.
Well,
Uh,
I don't have put them in the game. Said, do y'all use Havo's APF editor? I don't have all pro football, so and I don't have my old
um,
console. So
I don't use his editor because I play APF as is. I believe that APF is a whole nother league in itself. I don't try to make it into an NFL game. I don't try to make it into anything else. I use it. I play the game as intended. It's a all pro football game. It's a league of its own. So I play it as that. Um, I'm gonna put it like this, Yusuf. The pass trajectories are very good in Madden 20. So the over the middle, the slot passes, if you know how to throw the ball, you'll be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
But they
So
you can still high point and low point the ball with I think mainly with the trigger buttons. Yeah, up top.
yeah.
So
I'm trying to think anybody else put anything out there. Put him in a game. Says Simmons Smitty. Always love Madden. Oh boy, I'm not gonna say anything
they
about
were
that.
fairly critical of Madden in the last few months, and then and of course the beta comes out, new game, new toy.
Yeah, I mean it's
That effect will always pop up like, oh God, see what's going on here? I'm like,
there's a
this is
there's
something.
a
I'm
lot
like,
of
this is
there's a
something
lot of
cool.
factors. There's a lot of factors in them yaying or naying Madden. So I'm just not gonna I'm not gonna touch that. There's a lot of factors into that if you know what I mean. Pete says you're lucky that I'm into Witcher 3. I wasn't at first. A lot of people tried to tell me that the game was boring, but I got into the game and I am thoroughly impressed with what I'm playing so far. I should have played it earlier. Um, are we unnecessarily drop balls for no reason? Drop balls happen in football. I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah, I play wide receiver, and there have been times where I've dropped the pass, and
Yeah, yeah. I
it
mean,
was just really for no particular reason. So that's a I'm gonna just point blank say that's a dumbass question.
wide receivers drop passes. It happens. I mean, whatever.
Take it from one.
Yeah.
It happens.
Gentlemen, time to head home. Good thing taking a break at the end of the day. Houston, get home to your wife and your family, man. I appreciate you coming through. Let everybody know about this podcast. We're trying to, give people somewhere to, they can honestly listen without any, propaganda or any bias or anything slanted. So, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming through. Um,
That's actually a good mentality. 2K football now just say expect drops and you won't be upset. That's
all right, all right.
that's where you can put it.
And if you have drops, change your personnel. I mean, this is the thing about football in general. If you have a person dropping passes all the time, change your personnel. Put somebody in the game that will catch the ball. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. There are some people who may have experience like, oh, every receiver drops balls unnecessarily. But two things about that: every wide receiver drops a pass, and two, I have yet to see a game that always have receivers always dropping passes all the time.
Yep.
I
And
I,
that's what I'm
I
saying.
have not seen that in a game, in any game, Madden 2K, Backbreaker, or Tecmo Bowl. I haven't seen something like that. That's a really big issue that players always dropping balls like that. If a player drops a ball, maybe it's a situation where you wanted that player to catch the ball and it doesn't happen. It just happens.
And then just the last address use of there people again back to what 2K said, just expect drops and you won't be upset over the result. And then two, this is a real podcast. If you can't handle grown folks talking, you know what to do.
Pete, I want you
So,
to expound upon that. He said, "You guys, based on Twitter, differ a lot on opinion, yet are still friends." Oh, because there are times that Bills and I and DJ we don't agree on a lot of stuff. Like, especially
right.
like, I mean, we have a first in frame rates DM. I mean, NY Kia, which he's an honorary unofficial member of the podcast. He's in the DM
But
with,
don't want to join on the podcast
yeah,
except for that one time.
right, but he's in the DM. He has access to that DM. He'll tell you plenty of times we disagree about a lot of stuff. We disagree on Twitter outside of the DM, but it's just when it comes to the podcast, we still have those disagreements, but we know how to
Shoot.
we know how to
Remember,
dialogue. We know how to discuss each other's differences in a manner that it's almost seamless.
right. Matter of fact, just add an example, when we had the gaming addiction topic, what, 2 podcasts ago, I'm
Right.
like, you guys all saw that, me and Bill's, I'm like, we were on different wavelengths, and I'm like, the same language I used for Yusuf was the same type of language I used for Bills, and it was one of those things where it's just like, if something doesn't make sense to me, I'm gonna just tell you straight up.
Right.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm like, what is that gonna do? I'm not here to play nice. I'm here to tell you what's going on.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is like even when we talked about the physical copy thing when we were talking about GameStop. I mean, I was adamant for keeping physical copies of game, and you and Bills were y'all were more against me with that. But it was like
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. At the end of the day, we're going to have our opinion and we're going to disagree, but we all see our sides of the spectrum and we just live with it. It's not that, oh, fuck that. DJ, you're off the podcast now. I ain't got time for all that stupid.
Oh yeah, that those shenanigans. And for the record, I don't block anybody. Everybody has freedom of speech when they
No, wait
talk
a
to
minute,
me
wait a
on
minute, wait a
Twitter
minute.
and
No,
stuff
wait a
like.
minute. You don't have the right to criticize
Oh, that's right.
or say anything about my actions or what I want to say
Oh man,
about open or closed betas. You don't
Mm.
have to, you don't want to be a part of the Twitter police, buddy. You don't have the right. We all have freedom of speech, but you don't have the right. I'm invoking the Hollywood rule. You don't have the right. You
The
don't.
Hollywood rule.
That's what it's called, the Hollywood rule.
Mm.
When I want to say something that I feel that's right, and you don't, and I don't want nobody to challenge me, I'm invoking the Hollywood rule.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm blocked by PX1 Sports too. I told him straight up his idea that spread to a couple of folks in the sim community about monetizing CFM. You'd be willing to pay more if they did. No. And he blocked me because I basically challenged his view on it. I'm like, people don't like to be challenged these days, and it's more apparent now in this society. So I'm like, people will easily use the block or mute button, but I'm not one of them.
I don't know too
You
much
got
about
something to say, you're free to say it to me.
I don't know anything about PX1 Sports. I've seen him a couple of times on Twitter, but I don't know if he blocked me or not. I never talked to him. But as far as
Oh, this is
as
hilarious.
far as people that block me,
Oh, this is
there's one
hilarious.
person that blocked me, and it's and I don't think we should even talk about him, should we, DJ? That the one guy who's way off his rocker that we shouldn't talk about. Um,
I don't know what guy you talking
Kirk
about.
Ford.
Oh, that racist?
Yeah, we don't need to talk
Oh,
about him,
yeah, that guy. Yeah.
yeah. Yusuf said Double Standards podcast. Oh, okay. Thanks for watching. And
Mhm.
uh, like I
Oh, we got a new nickname. We're called the Double Standards Podcast.
oh goodness, people. But see, this is the thing.
Oh, we've made it now. We
Uh,
definitely have
first of
made it.
all, where's the IMF problem? I'm a fucking problem. What's up, everyone? What's going on? I see him. I'm sorry we didn't see you earlier. Appreciate you coming by. Doug Thomas, he said it perfectly. People hear what they like and not what they need, and I think that's a problem with certain podcasts that are out here. I'm just gonna say it like
Mhm.
that. Certain podcasts, they come out here and they know what the audience want. They want their audience. They know they want their audience to feed off of what they're going to say. And if they say something out of the way, they know that the audience is not going to feed off of it. So they have to say certain things. That's why certain fanboys and refugee camps, for certain certain consoles, they say what they say. They say things way outrageous because that same group of people are going to always come to their podcast. Our thing is we want people from all spectrums to come and bring their own opinions, no matter how far outrageous it is. But we want that same opinion to be backed up by, you know what? I have this opinion, but I respect and understand where you're coming from as well. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people don't know how to have an honest opinion about something and respect somebody else's.
Mhm.
So it sucks, because I think people brains are wired to understand a lot of information that comes in. They don't have to be tunnel vision or have like a one track mind to certain things. It's okay to not like Madden, but it's also okay to understand why people do like Madden and bring that energy to the table to actually have a discussion. It helps. It's healthy. It's healthy. You know. Um, Youssef also says Madden never getting better with all the blatant bickering and name calling. You may be right.
And
You may be right because there's people over the dev's head that makes the game that they want. What are you going to do?
and and to tell you the truth, I'm like, as far as that's concerned, I remember that pretty much is what fractured the sim community in the first place. I'm
Right.
like, I remember certain commentators saying that we were all castrated, walking around with no nuts.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just like, damn, that's how you really feel? Then we just gonna do our own thing. I'm like, stuff like that, you just brush off your
And
shoulder
and and, and
and continue to carry on.
And you know what? This is another thing why I say you need this type of community or this type of dialogue, this type of discussion, because even though that Madden may never get better, if people come together and discuss why Madden be Madden the way it is, and you have people like Bill's Fourth, you have guys like Charter oh 04, a name that nobody may never really know, Gerard 21. You have guys like him that actually puts in the work and the time to figure out why Madden is the way it is and try to make it better. We can also continue to try to play Madden and enjoy it, even with the suits doing what they're doing, even with the anti-EA crowd doing what they're doing. Um, the guys who did the Nectar mod with Madden 19, phenomenal people. Those guys are trying to make the game better, but how could those people try to make the game better when you have people who are just have a one-track agenda that are just truly upset because Madden has the license? I mean, it doesn't help, you know. Freddie G says the game is for kids, all highlights and user-friendly game. I'm grown, so I want a chess match. I'm 100% there with you. Um, let's see. Kirkpatrick says casuals not going to like Madden 20 when Johnny can't run back 20 yards to the left and right and throw dots 50 yards down the field. And that's where the patch will come in. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's where the patch, but at the same time, when that happens, us, us people who are here talking, people who listen to the Sim Standard podcast, people who do listen to Ryan Moody videos, when people who do
Oh, you
other
mentioned his name?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Wow.
People who listen to 21 videos. I'm sorry. People who listen to
I
21
was like,
videos. People
whoa.
who listen to to all those people who listen to who people who watch 2K now clips on Twitter. When we all can come together and say, okay, this is what Madden's doing with their patch. Let's see if we can get some people out here who can actually make sliders to fix the game. It's just
Yep,
stuff like
there it
that.
is, the 21 rule.
You know, yeah, I don't know, right? You know, you know. I'm sorry, Yusuf, if you felt that we're disrespectful. I mean, First and Framerates always been a podcast that's going to be straightforward with you. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. I mean, it's going to
Especially
be.
if it was just one question out of many questions you have asked.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm gonna tell you just like
That's
this,
being a little sensitive
and
if
I'm
you
gonna tell
telling
you like
me.
this, and this is for everybody that's in the chat, and then they know it. People in the chat know. 1 second you're gonna say something, it's gonna be like fuck off, and then the next second you're gonna say something we like and be like, yo, we cool with that. I mean, that's just
Shoot,
the way
we
it
just
is.
got, what was it, the past Thursday podcast? We roasted the fuck out of Hollywood
Holly,
sports,
yeah,
but we're still all talking.
yeah. And not only that, I mean, Hollywood, not even what, 10, 15, 20, maybe 20 episodes ago, we were just talking about, Hollywood, we were defending him against 21. Now it's like, what the hell is he talking about? He says getting
You know
dessert.
what? You know what?
He says
I want to say, I want to
he's
get this one.
no.
What's his
He,
name?
he, he says
That's a
getting
layup. Oh,
he says getting deserves more credit. I mean, for what? I mean, I'll be honest, for what? I mean, I'm not saying nothing bad about him. I mean, just saying honest. What has he done? Let's be honest. What has he done in the football gaming community for the past 3 years for him to get credit? Honestly, he's literally telling you to boycott the only football game, the only NFL game we have out there. What has he done that helped us to learn and play a better game? I mean, it's no disrespect to him because I mean that's how he feels. It's cool, but what has he done to help? Honestly,
Well, he has me blocked, so oh well.
it's an honest question. What has he done to help? Quayface asked, "Do I like Golf Club 2019?" Yes, I love Golf Club. I need to put more time in that game because that game actually, um, that game actually takes your time. It's almost akin to you playing Forza or Assetto Corsa or you playing Project Cars with a racing wheel. You have to put in a lot of time into playing that game. But I love it because it's very simple.
Yeah, it basically put EA out of business
I
as
don't,
far
I
as
don't, I
the
don't,
golfing was concerned. So,
I don't think Yusuf Jackson. I think this is probably his first podcast he's been listening to us. He asked me, "Was I at Hollywood's Neck?" Go back and listen to episode 71. Go listen to episode 71 if you want to know how we felt about what Hollywood's done.
and here's the thing. And here's the thing. It's not about we're at a person. We pretty much were against a view he had. See, that's the thing that I think people have a hard time distinguishing. We're not against that person.
No, we're not
We're
against
more
Hollywood
or
at all.
less, yeah. We said like Hollywood's a Redskins fan. I ain't turning my back on him. Shoot, I have Trump supporters that are friends of mine on Twitter. I haven't turned my back on. I'm open to all views, but if I view something, I'm gonna give you my opinion.
No,
I may
listen.
not sugarcoat it.
A
That's
thing
just
about the,
the way
the
it
thing
is.
about the thing about Hollywood in a nutshell, when you're trying to tell somebody that you don't have the right to criticize what they're saying on a public platform, and you actually decide to take it to the bed, go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and you want to make a video about that, that's when I know that you really believe what you're saying, and it's absolutely wrong. You should not be
Mm-hmm.
able to, you should not be able to silence somebody because they disagree with your opinion. That's it's crazy. You know, I
And
mean,
then
this has nothing to do with Madden community or gaming community. That's just in general. If I say something on Twitter and I get that backlash, it is what it is. You know.
mm-hmm.
Let's get back to some of this football talk. Freddie G said he should be able to critically think and force to get my football knowledge up. He's been reading fundamentals and different coverages, base defensive line for 2 years. Tough. Yeah, yeah. You should be able to use that in Madden. Watching hella breakdowns
I
and
agree
study.
with that
Yeah,
too.
watching breakdowns and watching hella breakdowns and studying principles of from different defenses, which you can't apply in Madden. It sucks. It does suck. I agree. It's one of the reasons why we're dealing with Madden the way we are now. 2K
Now,
2K football also said he might be the biggest 2K football fan, but some of these cats are a little over the top with their criticism of Madden. Absolutely. You want to add anything, DJ? You can go ahead.
yeah, because I seen Doug just put like right now I'm studying more and more RPOs. That's what I wound up doing.
Yeah,
I never really exposed myself to. I know what they are, but I never dove into them head first, like the way that Madden is gonna allow me to do. Now, there's one thing in particular that I don't like about like the RPOs, and that's just having to do with the way the quarterback positions himself on certain RPOs, like the RPO stretch. Um, I know it's not what it's regularly called, but it's a stretch run that's an RPO that gives you the screen pass available on the left side. Basically, if you got a right-handed, it's better the way the quarterback completely turns, like it goes to stretch to the right or left, and then if it's a right-handed quarterback but the play stretch to the right, he does a complete spin. He does a complete 180 the opposite direction, and then you throw the ball, which takes away time from him from his release. When I believe that if you're running a stretch play, that all you do is you pull the ball back, step back, like do like a large stride, step back, open up to the left, and then deliver the football. And of course, for lefties, it'd be easier because all they can do is just turn backside, deliver the screen. So I think they need to clean that up. But I like what I'm seeing from the RPOs altogether. It's
I
getting
think
me more focused.
DJ, when I started playing NHL 18, what did I tell you about NHL 18 as far as learning the game? That game
It's,
teaches you how it teaches you about the game and concepts. That's one beautiful thing
mm-hmm.
about NHL. Madden, what Doug Thomas just said, is the first step of Madden actually trying to get you to learn something about football instead of learning about Madden. It's two different
Right.
things.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side of that, Freddie G said he can't get all of that out of Madden right now, and it sucks. And I agree, it does. One quick thing about Golf Club 2, he was playing Golf Club. Quayface said he was playing Golf Club 2 and he loved that the game is hard. Yes, it's very hard. That's why I say you got to put a lot of time in it. A lot of time.
Yeah, it's hard. It is hard on its preset settings, but you turn all that off. Oh, oh, yeah. Let's
I
just
don't know. I
say,
don't know if NHL is still $11 in the PS4 store, but if you have an Xbox One, it is free right now on Xbox Games with Gold. But
mhm.
NHL, I'm gonna tell you, NHL. I I play NHL 18 sometimes. I play NHL 19, but I've been deep with NHL 14 on the PS3. But still, that game teaches you the what you need to do and what you don't need to do to be successful. By the time you play like 3 or 4 games of hockey, you will learn, you will know the sport of hockey. And it's not too many sports titles out here that do that. NHL and I think MLB the show may be a close to do that, but yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Anything else you got? I don't have anything to add with this episode. I think we this is a very good. This was a very good episode. Uh,
Yeah, I think it was too. I think a lot was put out there today that folks were wanting to hear, folks that didn't have access to the beta, and not hearing a slanted view of it. Basically, everyone's on it. Well, mine is Bill's, but I'm sure he said enough as far as online on Twitter, his views of it. I don't think he'll make a video. I don't think he has time to make a video, and nor has he made a video on his channel in a bit. I was thinking about doing a separate video, but since I was going to do that and have it released before this podcast, but now that,
I think on the flip side, when we do our episode on Thursday, yeah, we're still doing the episode on Thursday, but when we do episode on Thursday, I think we'll give Bills a moment to talk about his experience with the beta. I think it's only fair. And I think if you guys want to know Bill's opinion about it, it'll happen there. Um, 2K Football now said something beautiful, and I'm surprised Madden hasn't done it. 2K Football had a whole manual. I think that manual had like 60 or 70 pages in the game where it breaks down the game and the mechanics on what you can and can't do in the game.
mm,
And that's a great matter of fact. I actually thought about doing a video on that alone, but it's something that's amazing.
now here's a good question that can be asked for put him in the game. When's he going to make another video? Because I'm still subscribed to you, and I haven't received any notifications of any. Speaking of notifications or something, but yeah, when are you gonna make this playlist?
Hold on, wait a minute. What did you say before that? You was waiting for who make a video?
Put them in the game.
Oh, put him in the game. Yeah, he fake retired. But as far as this playlist, I need to do that tonight. I promise you, I'm gonna do it tonight. I'm gonna do it tonight. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
because
start on it.
it'll make it easier not only for myself but for our viewers to be able to access all our episodes in one nice little place.
NYKia says mesh concepts have the option in the route to sit now in 20. Yeah, they do. They did a pretty good job with air raid concepts in the Arizona playbook. User cannot sit on mesh in the dig anymore. Okay, that's excellent. That's good to
Hmm.
know. Yusuf still's leaning on this Gedden thing. He said Gedden and Moody 21 should make a video about it. Well, I don't know. Moody, let me tell you something. 21 made a few videos that I actually liked recently about how the management or devs dealt with the beta codes. I 100%. I love that video that he did. But getting once again, what is getting done to help? If you're a part of the Save 65 group, he's perfect for you. You know what I mean? But he's not helping trying to grow the community. A lot of people realize that the Save 65 thing is cool, but it's going nowhere fast.
Yeah,
Let's be
he's just more worried about ambushing people on people's podcasts, but that's a different story.
honest.
Um,
You know, I mean, it's going nowhere fast. So it's like, what are we doing? It's
yeah,
not progressing. It's not helping. You know. Anyway. I don't have anything else. I'm glad that a lot of people, for the most part, enjoyed Madden 20. Sadly, I'm not sure if it's going to last. I think a patch is going to kill the game, man. I really do. My gut feeling is telling me that. But if the game
yeah,
stays, the way the game stays at this point, I think at least 49.99 or maybe even $60. I think you'll get a pretty good game if it's the game stays the way it is now. I highly recommend you um, getting EA access and playing the game. If you have a PC, Origin access, $15 for the first month. I think that's the best way to do it right now. Because after that 1 month, you don't know what you're going to get. After that 1 month, people may complain and pass the game. It's over.
mm.
But if you like the podcast, please share it. Give us a thumbs up.
Or
Share.
thumbs down because I see
Yeah,
3 of them.
yeah, even a thumbs
That's
down.
good too.
I mean, that's good too. I mean, if you dislike what we say is cool, as long as you keep coming back to continue to dislike what we like. I mean, what we say is cool too. Um, 2K football now, it's still very mad and just more polished and cleaner. That is it in a nutshell. Absolutely. Madden 20 it's a very polished version of Madden. But like dislike, watch us on. I mean, listen to us on SoundCloud and
Just a second, hold on.
what?
Is Yusuf Jackson a burner account? Because I didn't attack him just now. He says I'm not attacking you, man. I'm like,
Nobody's
I was
attacking
talking
nobody.
about somebody else.
I don't think he realized when we actually attack somebody, he don't know the wrath of that yet. So
Nah,
let's fall back on that. iTunes, SoundCloud.
I know. I like having fun.
Yeah,
You know, it's a podcast that we like to do in our spare time. So it's just one of those things where it's like, if you can't have fun in what you're doing, then why in the hell are you doing it?
yeah, that's true. iTunes, SoundCloud, subscribe over there. Let people know that we're on there if they don't know anything about Twitter. We're trying to get on Spotify and what's the other one? Stitcher. Trying to get on there as
Mhm.
well. So more people, they clamor for us. We'll make it happen for you guys. Um, last note before I go on one no two things. I appreciate you guys with the feedback. Love the chat tonight. Love the people coming through listening. WTFOS Will Ferrell on Operation Sports. I'm gonna say it one more time. Lost most of his house in the house fire. I got the GoFundMe in the link is right here in the description. If you guys have $1, if you think that you can go without getting your coffee tomorrow going to work, add that, put that dollar into his GoFundMe, man. He lost his whole house. And they're rebuilding right now. They're doing pretty good right now with the funding, but every little bit helps. So if you guys want to go over there and help them out, even on Twitter, just go over there and give them some, kind words of encouragement. It helps. Because I can't imagine no one losing their house. It's devastating. I just bought this house in February, and if something happens to this house, even though with insurance, I still don't know what to do with it because I love what we've done with the house so far. So, um, thank you guys for coming through. Catch us on Thursday. We'll be back with another slew of topics, and we'll talk about more about sports and sports gaming. DJ, you got anything else?
Well, hopefully we'll have bills for Thursday. More than likely, we will.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I
definitely.
know his input on this beta is very valuable, just like a lot of people who had the beta. So it was fun to get in tonight and get this one in and get the information of our experience with the beta with you guys, the loyal listeners. So it's definitely fun to do this and to interact with everybody in the chat, whether we agree, disagree, with attacks, without attacks. It's one of those things where it's just like, hopefully we all have fun and then learn something at the end of the day. So I had fun tonight, and I hope to see you guys on Thursday.
Okay, Yusef, you're loving Bills right now. You really want Bills had a prior. He didn't have a prior engagement. He had something come up with his music career because you probably don't know that he does. He has a music career and he does. He's on the verge of putting out an album, so he had people that he had to talk to dealing with that. So that's where he is. So I mean, you actually pleased where he is. I mean, my God, I'm telling him that he got a fan. So we're done for the day. Thursday, 7:30, same time, same place. We're gonna be doing the same thing. Uh I guess that's it. You guys take care. And like I said, please share the podcast. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, that was a